I had to do it one time for the one time. I made this colossal seafood platter to include fried king crab. I got these mandingo-sized king crab from Sam's Club in the freezer section. And the bag is kind of clear so you can see how big they are from the outside. So I made sure I picked out the biggest ones I could possibly find. And they come pre-cut, so you just gotta just peel them off a little bit, take the meat out without breaking it, and you're good to go. I'm not a big fan of wet batter fried food, so I did this like our fried chicken. I got 2 eggs and about 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. I mixed that real good. Then I went ahead and got me a cup of flour and I seasoned it with my favorite seafood seasoning and some garlic powder. If you're feeling risky, go ahead and add some Cajun seasoning to it too. Now I only made about 5 or 6 fried king crabs, so you didn't need that much flour. This was about a cup of flour and about a tablespoon of each seasoning. I made sure that was incorporated real good, and you already know if the flour don't change colors, it ain't seasoned enough. Then I went and I got my king crab and I pat them dry, real dry with some paper towels. I made sure I got most of the moisture out of it. Then I dipped it in the egg batter and dipped it in the flour. If you want it extra and double crunchy, you can do this part twice. You can dip it in the egg, dip it in the flour, dip it back in the egg, and then back in the flour. But I didn't want all that crust on the outside. I wanted a light, crispy crust on the outside. Because the star of this dish is the king crab. And you want to make sure you pat that flour on. You don't have to rub it on. You can use a baggie if you want to, but make sure you get that flour on it, baby. I did this for all the king crab that I actually cracked that was big enough for me to want to fry it. Some of the king crab pieces were giving me very much scrawny vibes, and I didn't want that. Then I realized, why don't I just put most of the king crab in there at the same time instead of doing one by one? Duh. Then I tossed it in the flour like you be tossing those Now, once I got all of these crabs completely covered in the flour, I let them sit on that aluminum foil until I got the oil nice and hot. And while I was doing this, I was also doing a seafood boil. And y'all know I do my seafood boil just a little bit different. I only actually boil the potatoes and the corn. That's it. And nothing else in my seafood boil is actually boiled. I am not a big fan of boiled sausages, nor am I a big fan of boiled shrimps. But after 10 minutes of my potatoes and corn boiling, I went ahead and added a strainer to the top of my pan. And then I dumped the shrimp inside of that. I seasoned the shrimp with just a little bit of Old Bay or whatever seafood seasoning you like. Then I put the top on and some aluminum foil and let it steam for 10 minutes. Now this butter sauce understood the assignment. I melted some butter, added some fresh garlic, and I used this Saucy 7 seasoning, and baby, it was good. I let that cook and added my fresh crab to a butter pan and let that cook down a little bit too. Then I poured that sauce on my seafood boil, and it's time to fry these crab legs. Hot oil for 5 minutes till it's nice and brown like me. And I call this the PPP Seafood Platter. Alright, bye.